demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that I'm working on. And this is a big week at Stampin' Up! Today started a 3-day promotion where for every order that's starting at $20 and up, you get to collect double rewards. Now, on every order you place that's over $20 regularly, you get 10% in rewards that you can apply to your next order. Well, for today, tomorrow, and Friday, you'll get twice as many rewards. So it's a great time to shop. It's like saving 20%, even though it's after the fact, but it's still, hey, it's a savings. And so again, it is a great time to shop. So I'm going to share with you some products that you might consider getting. If you placed an order these 3 days or at any point in time. So the card I'm going to share today is actually one I did in my Stamp-A-Stack last week, but it features a lot of products that give us something to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so over here, let's see, we are going to be working with the Lily of the Valley bundle. And you can see these are the dies that go with it. And you can see LCC, that's my downline. She lent me her set because I can't own everything. I just can't. So this is a bundle that you can get if you buy them together. You get to save 10%, instead of buying them each separately, the stamp set and the dies. And we're going to make a great card with that. In addition, we're going to use everyday arches. When I used this in class, everybody was so interested. It's so funny because these have been around for quite some time. They're no longer available in a bundle. You just buy the stamps that originally were released with these, no longer are current, but you can still get these fabulous dies, and they are so useful. And I've used them a number of times, but this time really caught everybody's attention, I think. So we have those, and just so you know as well, we're using one of the dies from the Lovely Arrangements bundle, and this is actually on the last chance list. So if this is something that you might have been looking for previously, it has some great backgrounds. That's what these are. You can make stamp flowers and cut them out, which is always so handy. And then, of course, it has this can be used as a stem or just a little accent, but we're going to actually use this die for our label. So it's this, showcasing things that are on the last chance list, things that are available as a bundle, things that are in the online store, all things that you can look for. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our, this is Lost Lagoon cardstock. Now, very interestingly, Lost Lagoon is not one of the colors that's listed as part of, I didn't mention, we are going to be using the Valley. I pulled it up. I have it right here. Let me look at it. Valley in Bloom. This is the, all right, where did we go? Come back here. I looked it up and I lost it. So this is the designer series paper. It's called Valley in Bloom. And this color down here is actually listed as Coastal Cabana, which I love, one of my favorite colors, but because it's kind of muted, to me, it coordinated much better with Lost Lagoon. So that's what I went with when I made this card. So we're going to go ahead and use that as our card base. We're going to put some white willow on the inside. Again, it's a little bit of a dark color, Lost Lagoon, so if we go to write inside the card, we want to be able to see what we're writing, so we'll put that on the inside. Okay. Then to build our card front, we're going to take some of that designer series paper. So these are actually the reverse side of these papers. So this is some pretty bouquets of lilies of the valley, and lily of the valleys, I'm not sure. And then this is the reverse side of this sheet, and this has some beautiful bordering on the paper, along with a lot of what I call white space. But we're gonna focus on these sides. So we're gonna go ahead and add one to the top of the card. That'll be this one, and of course they could have chosen to use the reverse side. think anybody did. And then we're going to put this at the bottom, and this leaves a little bit of a gap. And the reason, you know, when I'm cutting for 40 cards or more, that kind of thing, every month, I need to maximize what I get out of any papers that I'm working with. So working with 3x4 and 2x4 makes it a little bit easier for me. So that's how I come up with these different, you know, sizes. So then I just took some of the two-tone Granny Apple Green cardstock, and I just cut some strips, and so that way we're covering up that gap. All right, and it extends and makes the perfect background. Now what we're going to do is I took my arches, my everyday arches, and I cut 3 different size arches, one in each of the colors that pulls the colors from the designer series paper. So I'm going to let me just show you which ones I used in case you want to reproduce this. I believe this is this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Nope. No, I did the 4th largest, the 5th largest, and the 6th largest. Okay, so going from the outside, we have number 4, number 5, and number 6. Those are the 3 sizes of arches that I used. And I'm just going to adhere them together. I did use the two-tone cardstock. It's a little bit thinner, so it makes it easier to cut, easier to work with, makes the card, you know, we've got a lot of layers going on here, makes the card a little bit lighter, right? And so that's how I did that. And again, I used the dark side as opposed to the light side, only because the dark side is really typically the true color. So this Lost Lagoon would then match the Lost Lagoon of the card base. Okay, so then I'm going to take these arches, which have become our background, and I'm going to go ahead and just center this right on the card front. Okay, so that's the basics of our card. But now let's add a few things to it. So we're going to start with, this is the stamp that cuts out the Lily of the Valley. You can see it does the stem and then the flowers, and it's really just kind of like the sketch of it. And I'm using gray granite. Gray granite is a terrific neutral color to use if you don't want to use anything as harsh as a black. So that is what I chose to use. Any of the grays are good for that. Sometimes not going gray. Oh, wow, that's an old color. Basic gray. That's probably the darkest one. Gray granite is somewhere in the middle, and smoky slate is of the lightest. And so they all work for different things. And I'm just stamping this onto a piece of white willow cardstock. And one thing to note is that, I was going to tell you something about that. Can't remember. Okay, so regardless, I'm sure it'll come to me. So we have that stamped on there. Oh, I was going to tell you that because the stamp is so big, I stamped it using my ink, left it on the desktop, and then I just took my ink pad to it so that it would ink it up that way. I feel like I get better coverage that way, and you're not wiping any of it off. So that's how I got that. And then we're going to take our dies, and for this, I use this outline die, and when it cuts out, of course, I did it ahead of time, and so you can see that it lines up and you end up with this. So this becomes this. And those are our lilies of the valley that we have there. And then we need some leaves. And so for the leaves, I took some Granny Apple Green and took my leaves. And again, this is kind of big, so I'm using my ink pad upside down to get it nicely inked. And for this, I'm just stamping it in the corner again to conserve all that paper I had to cut in advance. And so we have our leaves there. And then when you cut it out with the die that goes with that, with the leaves, you end up with this. This became this, okay? So now we have the elements for our card. So let's go ahead and we can add this to our card. Let's see. Let me see my sample. You think I didn't make a bunch of these already. But we're going to go ahead and put it on an angle. And you could use wet adhesive for this, or you could use regular snail. It doesn't take a lot. So I'm going to just use my, not snail anymore. I'm using a lot of old names today. I don't know what's going on here. But this is our stamp and seal. And I'm going to put it up on an angle. And then for my leaves, I'm just going to add my adhesive here. And as in nature, have it come out of between the leaves. I have that. And then we get to add a sentiment. And this set has a bunch of sentiments that are so cute. But I think this happy birthday right here is just, I just love the font on that, right? I mean, really could be somebody's handwriting very easily. So let's go ahead and stamp that. And I'm stamping it. Oops, remember I said we were going to use one label from that lovely arrangements bundle that is on the clearance rack. Or, see, I'm using a lot of old words again. On the last chance list, we call that now. And I'm just inking it up. And we're going to go ahead. And it just fit on there perfectly. So that's why I chose to use that. I also, this is one of my favorite labels to use. I love the grounded edges. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this to our card. You can add it anywhere, but I put it down here. And I'm going to use dimensionals for this. Assuming I can find them. I see them. I see them. It's just under my, oh, that's something else. All right. Let me just grab some dimensionals over here. I always have little pieces of dimensionals from my classes. So I'm just going to add some dimensional edges. Peel these off and add this to our card. And then our finishing touch on this card, of course, you have to have something blingy, something fun, and we are using the Shimmering Dots. And I have a whole package of them right here, sticking to something else, must be. Here they are. Okay, so these Shimmering Dots, they come in 3 colors. So we've got this, we could use these because they do go with that Coastal Cabana, but again, I used Lagoon, so I went ahead and just used the green one. So let's just grab, I'm going to just use my fingers today. I have classes tomorrow and Friday, so I'm all packed up for those. Actually, I'm going to take a pair of scissors. My point is my take your pick tools are packed up. So gotta prepare. So I'm just gonna grab a couple of these. As usual, I'll do 3. And I'm gonna put the third one, let's see. I'm gonna put it over here. As I did on my sample. And so here we go. So we've got this lovely Lily of the Valley card that uses the Lily of the Valley, the Valley in Bloom Designer Series paper, which I can't believe I forgot to mention is actually on sale this month. So we have a lot of things going on. It's 15% off select designer series papers, and this is one of them that is on sale, as well as a lot of the two-tone paper, and even some of the cardstock is on sale at 15% off. So between the sale and the extra rewards today, tomorrow, and Friday, as well as the last chance list, we've got tons and tons of reasons to be shopping at Stampin' Up. So you can look for my online store. The links are below in the description, along with measurements for this card, for everything on this card, and also links to my blog, etc. So all kinds of things to look forward to these next 3 days. And if you have any questions or need any help, just message me, email me, whatever works for you. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.